Welcome back, gamers of the internet. After spending a week in the anime mines, I need to make a smaller video for my sanity. Lucky for me, the game I'm talking about today is very short and easy to talk about. Only If. Only If is an indie puzzle adventure game that released back in 2014. I first played it not long after, even though puzzle games aren't usually my thing. However, there is one additional tag this game has that made it super appealing to me. Free. In 2014, I was 16, so anything for free caught my attention. At the time, I liked this game a lot. It's lived in my memory as a unique puzzle game that really kept me on my toes. Only If also has a narrative. The story is actually pretty front and center. You play as a guy named Anthony. After attending a rager, you wake up in a mysterious house. Before you can leave, some guy named Vinny starts fucking with you through the radio. The house you're in isn't just an ordinary house. There's impossible hallways, weird rooms with no exit, stuff like that. Turns out you've unintentionally stumbled into Vinny's domain. See, Vinny is kind of like the Jigsaw Killer, except instead of torturing you, he makes you solve Rubik's Cubes. Vinny and Anthony do a lot of yapping at each other over the course of this game. The voice acting is pretty good for the most part.
But if you want to get out of here alive, you gotta trust me. Okay?
Okay.
Let's start with you moving over to that mirror.
Wait, mirror? Wait, where?
Start looking for it! You blithering idiot! You dumb nut!
Sorry, wait, where's the mirror? I don't see the mirror.
The script, though, could use some work. Their dialogue is kind of problematic. But this story isn't the reason to play Only If, even if it is kind of front and center. This is a puzzle game, so how are the puzzles? I will say this. The puzzles are actually impressively creative. A lot of them have to do with using the physical space around you instead of, like, solving a line puzzle or something. For example, my favorite section of the game sees you stuck in a black void. You can't actually see anything, but lucky for you, someone left some helpful notes to give you directions, or maybe instructions is the proper word? I don't know, man. For some reason I think it's super cool to have to count out your own steps like this to navigate an impossible space. I mean, this was absolutely cooler when I was 16, but I still think it's neat. Only If does this kind of thing a lot. It combines the environment with some vague riddle and leaves it up to you to put the pieces together. It takes a hands-off approach to guiding you. Discovering how to solve these puzzles without any guidance is super cool, but when it comes to Only If, it's also super frustrating. Some of the things the game expects you to do are pretty unclear. As an example, there's this section in a park that starts out super cool, and I'll get into that in a sec, but after the cool part, you might find yourself wandering around not really sure what to do next. What you're supposed to do is interact with the trash cans around the park. There aren't any button prompts, so it's not obvious you can even use them. To be fair, the game does spawn in a note with the words, "Trash talking, are we?" written on it. This is a callback to an earlier conversation between Anthony and Vinny.
Yum, 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 I eat dick all day.
And as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what to do, but missing it at first made things pretty awkward for a while. Okay, what about the cool part of the park? The game breaks the fourth wall to talk to you directly pretty often. During these moments, you literally have to use your keyboard to type out responses to the game. This is another creative puzzle I don't think I've seen used anywhere else. Realizing I could talk to the game directly in this moment is something I will always remember. And discovering that's the solution was also really cool, it's unexpected. A lot of moments in this game kind of feel like the Psycho Mantis boss fight in Metal Gear Solid. They really just break your expectations. I could talk about all the puzzles that thoroughly resonated with me, but there isn't too much to discuss. The game is very short after all, and I should leave something for viewers to discover on their own. Instead, I should briefly go over some of the less favorable parts of this game. As I stated earlier, the dialogue is kind of not great. Vinny and Anthony are both very unlikable characters. It kind of gets annoying to listen to them. That's another reason why I like the park so much, is because they're not yapping at you. But again, this is a puzzle game, so what puzzles did I not enjoy very much? Well, one of the earliest puzzles has Anthony walking along a stone path, trying to avoid these nebulous dark voids. They will lazily chase you, and if they catch you, they kill you. But you know what else kills you? Walking slightly off of the path. After that section, you spend a hefty chunk of time in some kind of house, mill, abandoned building type of thing. This part of the game feels close to a traditional escape room. You need to find objects and put them in their proper place to progress. Sometimes you need to navigate in a specific way to get around some obstacle to get to where you have to be. And that leads into a pretty big problem with this section. The level design is confusing. It's not like a horrible maze, but it's kind of unintuitive. This section is also visually pretty dull. The back half of the game has the player going through some wild environments. They're absurd, and they make the game a lot more memorable. But this sawmill is just a sawmill. Gameplay-wise, there's also some super strict timing moments. One of them requires the player to lower a gate that will start rising up again. You have to jump over the gate before it cuts you off, but the timing is just too strict. You have to play it perfectly. A bit earlier on, you have to run and hide from Vinny before he shoots you, but you only have like a second to react. It's just too short of a window. To end on a good note, as I said before, the second half environments are way more interesting to play through. I brought up the Dark Void in the park, but there's also a bizarre pillar room, a grid surrounded by clocks, for some reason. And of course the Inception room. These settings are unique. You can never really predict what's going to happen next. That's probably why I remember this game keeping me on my toes so much. All in all, I'd say the mixed reviews for this game are well deserved. This game has some pretty great moments, but also some frustrating lows. If you want to play it, go ahead. It's free, it's short, what do you got to lose by trying it? And if you do play it, or have played it in the past, what side of that mixed spectrum do you fall on? I'm more positive, but I tend to like everything. And I know nostalgia is playing some kind of part in my opinion. Speaking of liking things, leave a like on this video. And while you're at it, subscribe. My next video is going to be a lot more substantial than this one. I just needed to chillax after that cheeky video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, everyone.